Hello, everyone. Welcome to Straight Talk on Social Media. This is Ian Desher, Creative Director from Pivot Group, talking to you on this Friday, September 13th. If you are superstitious, be careful. Even if you're not superstitious, be careful. We're going to be talking today about social media for the holidays, which is something that I had promised that we were going to talk about last time. But there's also some big news in terms of Facebook contests and promotions. So I'm going to cover that as well during the focus time. And actually, it's tied in some ways to the if you're thinking about doing holiday contests or promotions. So anyway, before all that, let's jump into the news. First of all, Facebook has announced an effort to increase internet access really globally. They're looking at the fact that there are still billions of people on the planet who don't have internet access. And so they want to help sort of decrease some of those barriers, see what they can do to help get internet out to the world. So that was an announcement that was made by Mark Zuckerberg within the last month. And it'll be interesting to see how that begins sort of rolling out. Facebook also has done away with their real life gifts through their gift service. So now, if you go onto Facebook and you wish somebody a happy birthday, you'll often see a little recommendation that maybe you send them a gift. And what they've kept is they've kept the digital gifts, like an iTunes gift card or something like that. They've kept the ones that can be sent, electronically. What they've done away with is things like cupcake service, where you'd have a dozen cupcakes delivered to somebody or flowers or something like that. I think it's kind of a shame, but clearly it was not working out for them. So they have let it go. Interesting to see how their gift service is succeeding and not. Clearly the digital is working for them, but the in-person was not. An interesting study, speaking of Facebook, but I think this is probably applicable to across several social media channels. There was a study that showed that early likes on a post of any kind will lead to more likes. So if you post something and you like it, and maybe employees of your company like it, and your close family and friends like it, and sort of give it that early boost, there's something like a 30% higher chance that it is going to then get a lot of likes from other people as well. So interesting to see that even liking is sort of a situation where early adopters can really help out give something a boost. But it's something to think about if you have any sort of key announcements that you're making, or interesting sort of new products you're announcing, or if you really want to post to to have a chance at going viral or being seen by a lot of people, or getting liked. Making sure that there's a good critical mass of people liking it as soon as it's posted or shortly after it's posted is really going to increase its chances. And another thing in the news, again from the last month, just barely, actually just over a month ago, an interesting thing that happened with Domino's Pizza. So this woman, you can see the post here, Geneth Tavares posted on Domino's Pizza page, "Best pizza ever, pan pizza, keep up the good work, guys." So she's being effusive about their product. She loves them, and their comment is, "So sorry about that. Please share some additional information with us, et cetera, et cetera." So Domino's was sort of called out and dinged for this, because clearly what's happening is that their customer service representatives who are responding to to posts on their Facebook page are so used to seeing negative comments that they are sort of automatically, they're not even reading people's posts anymore. They're just automatically copying and pasting and responding with this message about helping people with their problems. So just an important reminder that you really have to read what people are posting to you or about you on social media, and take each one of those as an individual response, or each one of those deserves an individual response. And there really shouldn't be. I think it is okay to have some canned messages, or to have certainly to have an idea of the way you want to respond to people, but to make sure that you are responding appropriately all the time, because this obviously just looks like really bad form for Domino's to be apologizing. And they tried to play it off, later on, but the damage had already sort of been done, and everybody had sort of called them out for for being ridiculous. So anyway, just something to note. One other piece of news before I move into the focus topic that didn't make it into a slide because it's just from this morning. Facebook has announced that they are going to start including video, autoplay video in the news feed for their mobile subscribers. So what that means is that, and it's going to start off with sort of verified celebrity accounts and things like that, where if somebody has posted a video, that video is going to automatically start playing as soon as you're viewing it on your news feed, and there won't be any audio. The audio will be turned off by default, but the video will actually be there playing. It's not yet available for advertisers, but that clearly looks like it's going to be probably a next step. So, interesting move for Facebook as they're trying to take a step toward video advertising. That they are introducing autoplay video, and it'll be interesting to see what consumer reaction is like to that. So that's the news. Now moving into the focus, straight talk on both new Facebook contest rules and social media on the holidays. The new Facebook contest rules I just want to cover quickly because it's very important and it is very good news. So what the rules used to be on Facebook's page guidelines that they had for many years. Basically, the rule was if you were going to run a contest or promotion through your Facebook page, it had to be run on a separate third-party platform. So it would be sort of a tab on your page that people would click over to, and it would be a custom tab that was pulling in content from a third-party site. And so the functionality was basically out of Facebook's hands. And they were doing that to protect themselves from anybody who might get upset about, a contest or promotion going wrong or anything like that. So that was something that that Facebook really wanted to had in place for a long time, and recently now you can see in their new page guidelines they have really lifted all those restrictions. So the main thing you still have to do, you do have to make sure that you have some rules and terms and eligibility requirements, and you have to make sure that you are completely releasing Facebook of any responsibility within those rules and terms and conditions, and acknowledge that the promotion isn't sponsored or endorsed or administered by Facebook. But that's it. And what they are introducing, and they put out a blog post, sort of making this explicit that yes, they are taking this step. Let me explain sort of what some of the differences are. So first of all, there's no more third-party requirement. That means that you no longer have to have another company creating functionality for you where you can run a trivia contest or an enter to win sort of sweepstakes kind of thing. So it is a lot easier. There's not going to be additional programming for you or another company to do to get that hooked up with your page. It also means that your timeline is now the home for your contest. The way it was before, you could link over to the contest from your timeline, but you couldn't actually run the contest from your timeline. And so it was, sort of one step removed in terms of having people have immediate access to entering the contest or anything like that. So that, again, has been something that's been restricted, or I'm sorry, that restriction has been lifted. So now your timeline can be the place where you're running all of your contests. And so what that means now, likes can be used to count votes, for instance. So this was one thing that they had made crystal clear before was not allowed, and now it is. So for instance, if you have a photo contest on your page where you're creating a Facebook photo album using Facebook's photo album technology, and you can say, whichever photo in this album gets the highest number of likes will be the winner. And so that now is an acceptable way of sort of running a contest that was not at all before. And you can collect entries. So if you're doing a sweepstakes sort of thing, you can collect entries either via direct posts onto your Facebook page or via messages sent directly to you, now that Facebook's added that ability for consumers to send messages directly to companies. So either way is acceptable now to collect entries. So again, that's using Facebook's functionality, their posts functionality, their messages functionality. They're now letting you do that to collect entries. So this is really good news for, if you've ever run a Facebook contest, if you've done it by the rules and used a third-party solution, you know that it is kind of more of a pain than just the easy route of posting something on your Facebook page that says, hey, post on our wall, post your favorite color and you'll be entered to win whatever. So now you do have that ability. Still have to make sure you have official contest rules and terms and conditions and all of that, and release Facebook of their responsibility. But it really is good news for company pages. So wanted to make sure that everybody knew about that before I talked about the other focus topic, which I will now launch into. Social media and the holidays. So the reason I'm covering this in September is that, of course, the holiday season, broadly conceived from the beginning of October through the end of December, or start of January, really, is almost upon us. And it seems crazy to be thinking about that. But 3.5 short months, and all of this will be even behind us. So it's a good time now to start thinking about any social media promotions that you might want to do. So what I wanted to do is just show you a handful of good promotions that were done. These were all done last year. And it's a mix. I'm going to move through some Halloween, Thanksgiving, and then on into December holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, things like that, and then into New Year. So I'm just going to give you a bunch of examples of good campaigns that were done last year, and then talk about some takeaways that you might take when you're thinking about your own social media holiday campaigns. And these will be kind of fun. These are creative examples from that are all pretty fun. So first of all, Little Caesars, the pizza company, created this website called ForbiddenPizzaWebsite.com. So you came to this website, and instead of sort of encouraging people to enter, they had this sort of tongue-in-cheek thing. This is your final warning: do not enter your address below. And and I sort of love what they've done here, where the text that disappears when you click in here is "do not enter your street address here." The button says "don't click this." It's a lot of fun, right? So of course, people being curious, people are going to enter their address and click on it. And so once you do that, what it does, or what it did, I should say, is it pulled up a map of your house, just a Google Street View sort of picture of where your house is, and it added in some ghosts, right? So all of a sudden you got something like this, and it said, now you've done it, your house is haunted. So this could be your house that it's showing, or your apartment building, or something like that. And then there's this button that says find out how to unhaunt. And the way you unhaunt your house is what it does is it shows you a map to the closest Little Caesars location next to you. It shows you how to get there. And then what you do is it says go pick up a hot and ready pizza, and then click the button below to unhaunt your house. So sort of a fun way to engage with customers, let them, the whole idea of showing a customer's house by using Google's Street View technology was sort of a brilliant idea, to make it very personal for each user who comes in and uses this sort of thing. And then it encourages people, hey, we're having fun with you, and you can now go and buy a pizza from us, please. So it was a successful promotion. It was something that people did, in fact, enjoy, and it's a great way to work in sort of the fun of Halloween into a promotion. The next one for Halloween was Target had this trick or treat, and this was a custom Facebook tab, the sort of which is not necessary anymore. But of course, you can't make something that looks like this on your timeline, or at least not as easily. So what it was you came to this custom Facebook tab, and you see this option. There's something waiting for you behind this door, and it's your turn to go trick or treating, and you have to agree to are you old enough? Do you agree to the rules? And then you click on knock on the door, and you get a couple of chances, right? So you get a couple chances to knock. And then when you knock, you can either get a $20 gift card just automatically. They've picked a certain number of people to get that and feed that up randomly to their, to some people who are visiting this. Or you would be entered to win a grand prize. And so you can see when you not clicked on it, okay, you actually got a trick. So you didn't get a treat, but in fact, you can keep trying. If you actually post this and share it with your friends on your timeline, then you can get another opportunity to knock. So it was again, a clever way to work in a sort of enter to win promotion into the holiday, playing on the whole idea of trick or treating, and making that something that people could play with on the Target Facebook page. Another one, Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts is they are always a good company to look to in terms of social media promotions. They are very creative in terms of the contests and promotions that they run. They are often among the early adopters of technology. You've heard me talk about some of their. They had a Vine video contest, shortly after Vine was released, and so they really are, they really are good companies to a good company to come to look at examples of what they're doing. Anyway, they did this promotion called Carve DD. So they also are very frequently with their contests and promotions will employ a Twitter hashtag. And so for last Halloween, it was Carve DD, and you can see the example here. It was basically, somehow carve something representing Dunkin' Donuts into your Halloween pumpkin, and then you post the picture on Twitter and you use the hashtag. Excuse me, and it became sort of a photo contest that people entered that way, and they could win one of, I think, a handful of $50 gift cards or something like that. So again, a fun way to engage with people around something that they're already going to be doing during the holiday season. Carving pumpkins. Good use of Twitter hashtag and that sort of thing. A key element, I don't know if I've said this often on these webinars, a key element to a Twitter hashtag, and I was brainstorming a Twitter hashtag with a company just last week, and we were sort of thinking about this. One thing you have to think about when you're starting a Twitter hashtag, first of all, is it memorable enough? But second of all, is it something that nobody else is really using yet? So you want to do that sort of double check. Dunkin' Donuts almost always builds in DD into their hashtag. So it's something that is going to not be something that other people are using for another purpose, but it's also fairly easy to remember. So anyway, another good promotion from Dunkin' Donuts. And then Sears, last Halloween example. Sears had this, basically took their website, and again, this was last Halloween, and they created something like Sears.com/zombies or something like that. And believe me, I'm not a zombie fan. I almost can't even look at this slide. But basically what they did was they took their website and they recreated their website, but with zombie models instead of normal models. And you can see here they had some fun about it, right? What gender is your zombie? What attributes does your zombie have? Are they slow, cranky, hungry, dirty? All of this. And then what sort of brain preference do they have, right? So they're really playing into this. But it's still going to lead to their products, right? They're still highlighting, this blue blouse for the girl zombie and this flannel shirt for the guy zombie, and you can still actually go through the purchase process and everything. It's just that it is, it's all sort of zombified, and they could do that with sort of a full. I mean, it was basically a large microsite. It was a whole section of their site. They could do that and have it work with the programming around it and everything. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how you might do that on a little bit of a smaller scale, but sort of with the same idea. But anyway, that was something successful that Sears did last Halloween. Moving on into Thanksgiving, Better Homes and Gardens and Campbell's, and actually this was also in conjunction with allrecipes.com. They did this promotion called Best Thanksgiving Ever. So what they did was they asked people to pin a certain number of images on their Pinterest site, and then fill out some information. And basically, they wanted people to describe, sort of what their best Thanksgiving ever might be, and then you could win actually $5,000 toward creating your ultimate Thanksgiving, your ultimate Thanksgiving meal. So again, it was a good promotion that they did. It made people engage with their Pinterest accounts. They were ensuring, this badge that you see here had to be pinned onto the account as well, and so they were sort of ensuring that a certain number of their recipes that featured their products, were showing up on people's Pinterest account. But at the same time, allowing people to sort of wax eloquent about, the ideal way that they would spend this holiday, and rewarding people for doing so. Um, Allstate did what I thought was a really nice campaign, and unfortunately, the actual videos have been taken down, or I would show you one here. But they did some, they did some thanks for their Allstate agents. They posted some YouTube videos, and basically said, we just want to thank our agents for all of their hard work in the wake of Hurricane Sandy. So really, they were having their own sort of Thanksgiving moment, right, where they were posting these things, just saying thank you to their customers. So really, even more than doing some sort of promotion where they're trying to, specifically get people to buy something, or in some way promote themselves during the holiday, what they were doing was taking on the spirit of the holiday and saying, "Hey, we also want to be, in the spirit of Thanksgiving during this time." And they created these videos just saying thank you, and that was also well received, and I think just really cool thing that they did. I'm speeding up here because I'm suddenly aware of my time, but the Gap, this was sort of a Thanksgiving leading into Christmas promotion. They did this thing right around Thanksgiving where they said, "Hey, we want to give you a jump on your Christmas cards, because we know that now that Thanksgiving is turning into Christmas, you might want to get a jump on that." And so they worked with Postagram. Now, Postagram, if you haven't heard of it, it is a service that basically they partner with particular companies, so that you can upload photos and you can send them directly from your Facebook account if you want to, but you create postcards with your own message, and then a company pays for the postage, and you can automatically mail them from online, and then somebody will receive an actual hard postcard in the mail. And yes, it will have the company's logo up here at the top, and there's a QR code that takes you to some sort of promotion for the company on there. But it's still a free service, right? And so the Gap was not only letting people know that they could get a jump on this with a Gap sponsored Postagram, but they could also do it directly through social media by using their Facebook albums to do it through a Facebook app. So it was all social media based and everything. And they did this right around Thanksgiving, again, in the time when people are starting to think about, or maybe starting to think about their Christmas cards. So moving into the December holidays here, Christmas and others, allrecipes.com did this promotion for the world's biggest cookie swap. So they invited people to post their favorite recipes of cookies, and they had entries to where people could win gift cards and things like that. But the whole idea was, we already know that people are doing cookie swaps during the holidays. That's a popular thing to do, especially for people who are into baking. And so we're going to, sort of host a gigantic cookie swap by having people post a bunch of recipes. So a great way of sort of entering into something that people are already doing, and using that to sort of talk a little bit about, get people engaged on their site. And again, you can see here they're using Pinterest a lot to do it. So I thought that was a really fun idea. Again, it's a very sort of natural holiday promotion, because it's meeting people where they already are. People are already doing cookie swaps. At least I hope they are. Peeps for the holidays. Now, this was an interesting move for Peeps. The Peeps, the marshmallow birds that are really well known at Easter time, were really trying to make themselves known for Christmas last year. And so they did this sort of promotion where they put out these e-cards that you could share via social media, and they were all sort of peep based, and had some social media funny things. I'm sorry I defriended you again, social media themes and things like that. So there were, it was sort of this, they called it Peeps offerings, instead of peace offerings, right? It was a Peeps offering. And it was sort of this fun way to, offer something free to people during the holidays in terms of e-cards, but also having some fun with their brand, and things like that. And, trying to sort of make a name for themselves, in a season when they're not normally thought of. I mean, Easter is really when Peeps are big, but here they are trying to promote themselves for Christmas. interesting thing about this, as I was sort of researching this and looking into this promotion that they'd done, I went to the Peeps Facebook page. This was just a few days ago, and this is what I found there. This Halloween, express your peepsonality, right? So clearly, again, here they are having a lot of fun with this holiday that's coming up, the Halloween, and already starting to sort of insert themselves into that holiday as well. So I thought it was interesting that they really are sort of going with this seasonal holiday based theme. Capital One did this promotion, a Pinterest promotion, where they did the 12 days of Pinterest, is what they called it. And for the 12 days from December 13th to 24th last year, they posted, day one was the gift of something. Day two, you can see here, was the gift of traveling. Day three was the gift of something else. And they posted all of these pin boards and had users also post pin boards that sort of expressed what these various gifts look like. So, what does the gift of traveling look like to you? Post some of your travel pictures or post pictures of places you'd like to go, and it became this promotion they could do. But again, tying into something that is already a holiday theme, right? 12 days of Christmas. So a clever promotion there. Bravo did this, Bravo is an ad agency, and they created this thing actually promoted toward the Hispanic community, where they offered these free tweets, and these tweets were designed. The actual text of these tweets were designed by an actual designer. But basically, what you can see is it's within 140 characters. It is just a normal sort of tweet that you can create within 140 characters on Twitter. And then what users could do was retweet it or copy and paste it or whatever, and share it and tag others so that you could share it with your friends. And you can see here that they have their own hashtag for it, HoloTweet, and you can see sort of how it looks, as people passed it on. But this was a very successful campaign, and just gave sort of something free and fun to people that they could post on Twitter. And and also I think really creatively making use of Twitter's interface, where you only have 140 characters to express yourself, and yet they're finding really sort of beautiful and fun ways to do that. And there were options you could choose for Christmas, for Hanukkah, for Kwanzaa, and for New Year, I believe also. So really quickly, I just want to talk through some of the takeaways here from these holiday campaigns. First of all, I think one of the things you see over and over in this is that people are associating their brand with an existing tradition. Capital One is using the 12 days of Christmas. Allrecipes.com is using the idea of a cookie swap. Sears is sort of, jumping on the zombie bandwagon, right? Things like that. So it's something that people are already going to be thinking about. There are all these traditions around the holidays, all these different sort of cultural memes that we're already thinking about. And so inserting your brand into that in a creative way, I think is a great way to start thinking about a holiday promotion. And that's true, I think, actually, whether we're talking about social media or otherwise, really any kind of holiday promotion. Insert yourself into your likers' traditions. So again, with the idea of a cookie swap, or the Thanksgiving meals that people might be making, writing Christmas cards, the things that people are going to be doing year after year. How can you sort of become a part of that? How can you, assist people with what they're already doing in their traditions year after year? Thinking about those, and then specifically about how those play out within social media, is an important way to start planning. Make sure that what you're doing is memorable and shareable. I think the Twitter option that I just showed you was very applicable, right? It was something that was very shareable throughout Twitter, and it was memorable because in Twitter, where you have just a lot of text going by, this was something that actually was a little bit artistic, within their 140 character limit. The Target trick or treat promotion, where they're having you sort of knock on a door so that you can, see about whether or not you want a $20 gift card, then became something that if you share it, you'll get another chance to knock. So they made a real point of making sure that people were sharing this promotion. So memorable and shareable are sort of two key pieces of social media promotions, particularly when you're thinking about the holidays. Freebies and donations, I think, are great. It is the season to give, after all, right? With the Twitter promotion, they're just giving something free to people that people can use on their Twitter timelines, Twitter feeds. With the Peeps promotion for the e-cards, they're just giving people, these free e-cards that you can use. And yes, they have Peeps on them, and they're promoting Peeps, but at the same time, they are just something that's fun and free. There was another promotion that I didn't use as one of the examples, but where they were making a donation based on the number of entries that they had. They were making donations to Toys for Tots, and so that I think is a great way, to do something. I think also related to this is the Allstate promotion, where they're saying thank you to their agents. That's really a way of, they're really just entering into the spirit of the holiday. And so if it's always great, especially from a branding point of view, to be doing something like that. So just remember that this is the holiday season is a great time to just give people something for nothing, if you can. And social media is a great way to do that. And things that are electronic and can be reproduced easily are certainly easier to give away than something that is printed or something that actually costs more. Think of easily edited and or fixed elements. So it's something you could change easily and then fix back. And this takeaway is inspired by the whole Sears zombie website. I mean, they really took their website and sort of zombified it for a while. And there was still the normal Sears website during this. They didn't go sort of whole hog and do it. But think about ways you could easily do that. Could you make some amendments to at least your homepage of your website, where you're bringing in some holiday elements? Could you take your Facebook profile picture and cover photo and sort of make it look themed for the holidays? Things that you can change easily and then change back once the holidays are over. Because of the nature of the web, where things are much more easily changed than print pieces, they're less permanent than print pieces are. There are lots of ways that you can sort of make these quick changes and then change things back easily. So think about ways you can do that to sort of emphasize the holidays. Consider which social media sites fit within certain holidays. So you can see that allrecipes.com is making great use of Pinterest with a couple of these campaigns, because Pinterest is where people are sharing recipes. The Twitter promotion really only works on Twitter because it's only there that you're going to get points for being creative within 140 characters. Target's knocking campaign really worked well for a custom Facebook page, because that's where you can actually do some coding of your own and actually get a fuller look for your own page within social media. So just think, as you're thinking about these social media campaigns, about which social media sites are going to make the most sense for whichever kind of promotion you're running. Yes, you want to break through the noise and you want to be creative and you want to to do that, but even go one step beyond that. And how can you help people with their holiday traditions? The Gap saying, hey, we know that you are thinking about your Christmas cards already, and we know it's stressful, but you can do it within the comfort of Facebook. Pick photos from your Facebook photo album, then go over to this Facebook app with Postagram, and they will, we'll send them for you, and you don't even have to leave the comfort of Facebook. Heaven forbid you should have to leave Facebook, right? But you can see that they're sort of offering to help people. The Best Thanksgiving Ever promotion, yes, it was dependent on you winning the grand prize, but it was something that was going to help you with your putting together your Thanksgiving meal. Any of the ones around recipes are helping people in a certain way by helping them come up with ideas for things to cook during the holidays. So any of those ways you can sort of add value to people's lives during what is always an incredibly hectic season is really useful. And finally, plan ahead. And again, that's why we're doing this webinar today and not later on. Make sure that you're giving enough time and thought to these holiday promotions. If you want to do something for Halloween, now is the time to start doing it, right now. You want to make sure that you're planning these things at least a month out so that you can do them justice. Make sure that you're pushing them out to your customers well in advance, so that people can can really start hearing about it and having some fun with it before the holiday is passed. So just make sure that you are planning ahead and start having those conversations now. And that's it. Thanks for sticking with me for a few extra minutes there. We had a lot to cover today, especially with the Facebook contest switch. The next Straight Talk on social media will be Friday, October 11th at 11 o'clock Pacific time. Dave Neustradten's next Straight Talk on telco marketing webinar for our telecommunications clients will be Wednesday, the 25th at 11 o'clock Pacific time. Still trying to figure out what that focus topic will be for my next time in October. But we'll have something fun for you. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend. Remember to keep your media social and your talk straight.